Hello, and welcome, perverse kindred of shadowy desires, and insomniac zombies of the night side of Eden, to the haunted art studio of my sorcerer, Bautiste, Faustus Crow. While waiting to be conjured amidst the triangle of art imagination of my crow, as his loving succubus art model, I will tell you a dark tale to rattle your rotting bones. So, pour yourself a glass of blood-red wine, and relax back in your comfy coffin, while I regale you with a lurid story. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there was a man called Gerbert of Aurillac, who was medieval born in 946 AD. Aurillac is a renowned cheese-making centre, which is situated in France, by the way. While studying mathematics and astrology in Spain's ancient universities, as an impoverished cheese-eating student within the wine-drinking cities of Córdoba and Seville, which were at the time under Islamic rule, Gerbert was accused of practicing sorcery. He, of course, denied the accusation as vile slander of the worst kind. However, naughty Gerbert was in possession of the dreaded Necronomicon he had stolen from a mad Arabian poet who was also a powerful wizard. This led to Gerbert having to flee Spanish lands, who was hotly pursued by the mad Arab. The wizard was intending to cut off Gerbert's thieving Christian hands with a very sharp and overly large sacrificial scimitar shaped like a sickle moon his argumentative donkey had to carry everywhere. The wizard was very confident he would find Gerbert because he could trace any thief by reading the paths of the revolving stars. But Gerbert was aware of how he was being tracked, since he had the Necronomicon in his possession, which revealed how he could become invisible. This required Gerbert suspending his body between heaven and earth by hanging himself upside down from a wooden bridge over mirroring water during the full moon, which made him invisible to the mad Arabs' starry calculations. Gerbert eventually made his safe escape back to cheesy Aurillac, who later used the stolen Necronomicon to build a brazen head. The brazen head was essentially a proto-computer of similarity to the Antikythera mechanism, which is an ancient Greek hand-powered orrery, described as the oldest example of an analog computer. Gerbert believed the brazen head could answer any question, which would respond to his question with a simple binary yes or no answer. He saw the brazen head as a means to attain great power, knowledge, and wisdom, which would make him famously rich. However, Gerbert didn't get much out of his brazen head. In fact, nothing at all. Because he never had the right question to get a correct answer. Let's just say Gerbert was a medieval version of a geek, looking like an acne-afflicted nerd, wearing a monk's habit, covered in jerk-off, white stains. After a time, while playing around with his ancient Greek invention of a geek's brazen head within his smelly basement study, nerdy Gerbert fell madly in love with a voluptuous young daughter of the Gerbert of Reims. But because he had no material assets to speak of, like most nerds, who are generally very poor in the ways of Lovecraft, she unequivocally rejected him and was very cruel about casting him out of her sight. She promptly whipped him out of a local tavern with the fetid carcass of a dead chicken in front of everybody. The chicken whipping made him look like a total fool. Hell, she didn't even bother plucking the descendant of the Tyrannosaurus Rex first. Gerbert's heart was utterly broken by the crushing rejection. A suicidal despair took hold of Gerbert, which threw him into the deepest pit of melancholy. His afflicting melancholy became intensely unbearable during the searing heat of the following dog days. Under the blazing silver star of Sirius, Gerbert quickly became a sorry wreck of a man. He rapidly found himself not being interested in anything at all. He had no interest in eating, nor was he able to sleep. His body eventually collapsed out of sheer exhaustion. While wrecked, Gerbert was lying within his own shit and piss. He found himself being visited by a beautiful succubus within a lucid dream. She appeared as a sexy young nun, having leathery bat wings sprouting from her back. The succubus was seated upon an obsidian throne between two naked elfin girls, one black, the other white, while holding the dreaded Necronomicon between her high priestess legs. The succubus told Gerbert her name was Mary Diana. She offered Gerbert sex with herself, as well as allowing him to have sexual congress with all her succubi sisters, who resided within her infernal nunnery. Mary Diana also offered to bestow magical knowledge, great riches, and fame upon Gerbert if he would only stay faithful to her. Gerbert did not think twice about the offer. He quickly agreed and entered into a sex pact with Mary Diana, after which he financially prospered as a hierophant. Gerbert rapidly became the Archbishop of Reims, then Cardinal Archbishop of Ravenna, and ultimately becoming the 139th Pope of the Holy Roman Empire. Gerbert ascended as a pope on February 18th, which was a Saturday, in the year 999 AD, who was ritualistically renamed as Pope Sylvester II. All the while, he kept his lunar sex pact with Saturnian Mary Diana very secret indeed. Of course, the daughter of Prévu was now intent on having Emperor Gerbert's very large Vatican bank account slip into her greedy pussy. She desired to become a financially well-off, gold-digging empress. Her seducing plans soon came to fruition when she found Gerbert inebriated on expensive holy wine after a debauched mass. Gerbert was lying upon the church floor, wrapped around the altar, while stroking his bent out-of-shape papal ferula. He was burping and farting loudly. Gerbert's sweaty, naked body was revealed through his ripped-up holy vestments, which were covered in melted cheese dip and strewn with crumbs of nibbled upon consecrated wafers. The daughter of Pradu proceeded to place 2 wafers upon his bloodshot eyes, and duly set about sucking off his crucified cock, thinking he would ejaculate his newfound wealth into her greed-hungry mouth. Mary Diana was not at all happy. At first Mary Diana gave the impression within Gerbert's dreams that she had forgiven his breaking of their sex pact. But Mary Diana wanted revenge, who bided her time until he asked a certain question. Gerbert would often ask Mary Diana about his future within his lucid dreams. When Gerbert asked her the same question again, Meridiana answered, should he ever read a Mass in Jerusalem, he would die. After awakening from his dream, Gerbert quickly cancelled his long pilgrimage to Jerusalem. He otherwise decided to read Mass within the Church of the Holy Cross of Jerusalem in Rome. He became very sick soon afterwards. It is said Gerbert asked his cardinals at the point of death to cut up his body and scatter his dismembered limbs across Rome. But in truth, what actually happened was his poisoning illness brought about terrifying hallucinatory visions, wherein he found himself playing dice with Mary Diana. Her loaded dice were made of the finger bones of hypocritical popes. He, of course, lost the game. Mary Diana then savagely mutilated Gerbert's spirit with her ripping vampire teeth, whose Diana Lucifera fury knew no bounds. She then flung his castrated prick and torn out eyes to her furious succubi sisters to play with in the blood-drenched church. It was then she revealed herself to be an aspect of the Anima Mundi, world soul, who is otherwise known as Sophia. The ancient Greeks equated with their witch goddess called Hecate. While Gerbert experienced the terrible visions which blinded him to the physical world, he inadvertently revealed his relationship with Mary Diana to his assassins of gathered cardinals. The cardinals had no intention of stopping a poisoned Sylvester, madly grabbing hold of a sword, who cut off his own hand and tongue before he rapidly succumbed to a gibbering death. The inscription on Gerbert's tomb reads in part, "This place will yield to the sound of the last trumpet the limbs of buried Sylvester II at the advent of the Lord." It is often misread as "will make a sound." The misreading of the inscription has given rise to the curious legend that Sylvester's succubus rubbing bones will rattle within his tomb just before the death of a pope. The lesson of Gerbert's story is: be very careful about questioning a succubus within your brazen-haired lucid dreams, or for that matter, a flesh and blood woman. Otherwise her answer might lead to you losing your brazen head, which is especially the case if you ask the wrong question. More so if you've been a very naughty boy like Gerbert. Breaking a sex pact with a succubus or a woman has dire consequences. My haunted art studio tale is presently at an end. Darker tales to tell later for those patrons of the dark arts. Now I have to flap my leathery bat wings and fly off and pose as a Tinkerbell night-gaunt nun for my plan of an old goat, Faustus Crow, who is conjuring me into his erotic triangle of art, imagination. Bye for now. May your Necronomicon lucid dreams be Lovecraft, dark of seventh seal revelation.